So we need to write a compound statement where we combine combine P and Q. So what is P? Okay, so we write 5 is less than -3, and, because it says to use and, all vertical angles are congruent. I'm going to use symbols because we don't have a lot of room. Now, for it to be an and statement, for it to be a conjunction, we know that both of those have to be a true statement. So they both have to be true for it to work. Are both of those true? Is 5 less than -3? No. So that's one false. That's all we need. So P and Q is false. Does anybody have the extra credit work to turn in? Okay. Turn it. Put it in the tray. Thank you, Curtis, for reminding me. All right, so now that we've done that, I want you to do this one. I want you to tell me the truth value of P or Q and R. First, tell me if P or Q is true. Because if it's or, only one of them has to be true. So that's true. And R. Is this a true statement? So this statement, P or Q and R, is true. Are we together so far? All right. Pardon? This is in parentheses because it's wanting you to look at this first, then say the truth value of that and R. That's what that means. All right, now let's look at this truth table and complete it together, because that's what we're going to practice doing today. We're going to go over our homework from last night, and then we're going to practice truth tables until our ears bleed. Okay? Well, it's hard out there for a pimp. Let's do this. So is this or and? That's and. So that means that both of these have to be what? True. All right, we're ignoring what's in the middle because it says P and R. So do we have two true statements in the first? Yes. Okay, so P and R is true here. What about in the second one? False. False. What about in the third one? True. The fourth one? False. The next one? False. The next one? False. The next one? False. The next one? False. Does everybody see how we got those? Yes. Okay. Yes. Pardon? Am I what? Am I going up? Yes. Okay. Can I just say yes and agree with you and let's move on? Okay. All right. Does everybody see how I got this? Now, I covered up Q. It says P and R. Both of them have to be true in an and. Now, let's look at this guy. That says the negation of Q. So the negation means the opposite. If Q is true, then what's the opposite of true? False. Okay, so false, false. And then what am I going to put here for the third line? True, true, then false, false, then true, true. Can you guys do Q or R without me? Yes. Do Q or R without me real quick. Are you better now? Okay. What am I sitting on my phone? Focus on your math, not me. You finished? All right. Is everybody done? Does anybody need another moment? Yes, we need to. Can y'all let Coach in, please? All right, so for Q or R, how many have to be true? One has to be true. So the first one, what's it going to be?
True.
Then?
True.
Then?
True.
Then?
True.
That's false, y'all. One of them has to be true. That's why we cover up the one that it's not. Okay. All right, so next it is.
True.
And then?
True.
And then?
True.
And then? Look at you go. Take a point for your team. Super proud. Okay, now the last one. P and the negation of Q. So that's covering up everything in here and looking at those two columns. So do that one without me. With and, how many have to be true? Both have to be true with and. Can you please stop that? I understand. Okay. Are we ready? Okay. For P and the negation of Q, P and not Q, on the first one, what'd you get? False. It's and. We're, okay. Do I need to cover up that one too? Like, I don't have enough. There. Is that better? Okay, what about the next one? Okay, the next one? 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 I love it when we sound like a cult. Good job, guys. Take a point for your team. Okay, so does that help anybody on truth tables? Okay, good. All right, let's look at number 9. See if you and your group can determine the correct answer for number 9. Hi, please do number 9. Good. I feel like it's more difficult to look at the truth tables than it is statements, personally. Because you like the truth tables better? Yeah? Okay. It is, because you have to cover up stuff, and I like the words better. All right, number 9. It says, given the true statement, if it is 11:15 a.m., then a bell will ring. Which of these is true?
B.
Okay. Now, remember, for it to be true, you can't come up with a counter example.
Let me have your attention at this time. We're under a hard lockdown drill.
All right, everybody. Okay. So it says, this is a true statement, right? It says, if it is 11:15, then a bell will ring. So this says, if a bell is not ringing, it must not be 11:15. Well, could it ring at a different time of day?
Yeah, it could. That's what I thought. What bell is this?
But it would be the same.
What are we focusing on anymore?
It's called teeny high.
Okay, so this says, if a bell is not ringing, then it...
Teachers, the drill is now over. We can go back to our normal classrooms.
He left the classroom.
She means like
Everybody.
going back to work instead of like.
Okay, so if it is not 11:15, then a bell will not ring. Let's just go through the ones that it couldn't be first before we start focusing on the ones it could be. If it is not 11:15, then a bell will not ring. So, right, they got other bells, so let's eliminate C. If a bell is ringing, then it is not 11:15. Well, a bell rings at 11:15, so that disproves that. If a bell is not ringing, then it is not 11:15.
Oh.
What?
That's the same thing as that, right?
No, if it's not 11:15, the bell's not gonna ring.
This says, then it.
Okay.
Oh. All right, y'all just holler, and I'll just stop trying to explain anything.
A common sense question.
Kind of. If a bell is not ringing, then it is not 11:15. Well, these two are almost the same thing, but it says must not be. So what is the difference between that?
That one says must not be.
Right, thank you so much. What is the difference between those two statements?
saying that it's not exactly like.
A has an extra word than E. Oh, number one. I mean,
Jesus, take the wheel.
I know how to
you're saying like,
explain it.
If a bell is ringing, then it is 11:15. Well, it could also ring at 3:15, right?
They're saying it's only one bell.
7:20.
There's multiple.
So I think that eliminates this. And I think the answer is A.
What? What a
Yeah, I think it's
Okay, number two. Do you?
No, you don't.
Do you?
yes.
You don't even do that.
Let's look at our homework from last night. Alright, so let's correct it with a marker. Well, how many of us were confused?
I was thoroughly.
Okay, so let's start with the first one. It says construct a truth table for not P or Q. So first, all truth tables are going to start like this one at the bottom of our notes when it's just two of them. True, true, false, false, true, false, true, false. So true, true, false, false, true, false, true, false. They all start like that because you have to have an even number of true and falses on both of them. Okay, so then not P means it's the opposite of P, correct? So what's the opposite of P? That's it? Just F?
False.
And then?
True.
And then? Okay. Now, not P or Q, or means that only one of them has to be true, correct? So let's cover up P because it's not P or Q. What's the first one?
True.
The second one?
False.
The next one?
True.
The next one? Okay. Did anybody get that right last night? Okay. It's okay that we were confused. We're going to do some more. So now that we... Yes. I'm sorry? The paper from yesterday? It's in the tray that says 13th. Alright. So let's look at this guy. This one says not Q, so that means the opposite of our Q. So we just do the reverse of this, correct? So what's our first one? And then, 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 dun 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 dun, second point.
Yay.
This says not Q. Is this or and? And R. So not Q and R means how many have to be true? Both of them, two of them. So cover up everything else and fill in the truth table for not Q and R.
What about P?
We don't care about that right now, do we? You can look at different ones. You don't have to always look at P. We already filled in. Curtis, are you done? Awesome.
If you don't cover it up, you're gonna make a mistake.
Yes.
Just go ahead and give it.
Are we gonna have cover sheets on the teacher's notes test?
You mean a piece of paper that you can get out on your own?
Basically.
Yes.
Thank God.
True.
Does yours look like mine?
Clear.
Yeah.
I only have 2 trues because it's and you have to have both of them. So that's this one and this one. All right. So now the last one says P or this column. So that means that we're looking at the middle. So P or this column. Well, if it's or, how many of them have to be true? 1. All right. So fill that one in without me.
So P.
No, it's P or not Q and R.
Oh, all right.
Cover up everything that is not in this description. Does yours match mine? Yay! Okay, now Venn diagrams. We did not talk about that yesterday, but you've done these before, right? Okay. So Venn diagrams are where the parts overlap. Is everybody with me, or does anybody need to see the truth table one more time? Are we ready now? Why are you on Snapchat? You were. So then you just lied to me.
I wasn't.
Lies. Alright, the Venn diagram shows the number of students enrolled in Monique's dance school for tap, jazz, and ballet. How many students are enrolled in all 3 classes? So all 3 means it has to be overlapped by everything. And what's that? 9. It's this section right here. Dun, 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 dun. How many students are enrolled in tap or ballet?
28 or 29.
17.
No, that's tap and. And is where they overlap. So tap or ballet. That means one or the other.
28 or 29.
And we add it together and we get 57. So for that one, you take this one and you take this one. Add them together. All right, how many students are enrolled in jazz and ballet, but not tap? 25. That's it. That's all you got to do. Isn't it lovely? Now, in the top drawer of your tower, there is a binder clipped page called Geometry that has truth tables. Get it out. Pass one out to each person. Let's practice. No. We're turning this in. So don't glue it down. Put your number at the top, your period, the date, and your tower. What? If you put your class period, then I don't be forgetting who you are. Alright, so my number is 1 because I'm queen. This is second period. Today's date is 9/14 and I am a Slytherin. That's what the top of my paper should look like. Yours should look like that too.
I can't see.
I got sorted on farm.
Oh, we
I
have our
got
diligence. I
Oh,
know.
yeah,
too.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like I say things and they just don't register. I don't.
Ours is Gryffindor.
Okay, so on our truth table, P and Q are always going to start off the same. So what is P? Who remembers? TTFF. And what is Q? Okay. So then what is this asking us to do next? Negate P. It is. Alright, so what is the opposite of P?
False. 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 True. True.
Take a point. So is this and or? Okay, so that means that both have to be.
True.
Alright, so what would we fill in for this last thing?
False.
Okay. It's an and. On and, they both have to be true. It's asking for not P and Q, so I cover up P. These are both not true. These are both not. Okay. Okay.
I meant to draw it up.
Alright, can you and your table work on the rest without me? Go, work on it. If you finish, put it in the tray. Does this make y'all feel a little better about what we did yesterday? Now that we're practicing some more? Yeah, it's the opposite of that. So, write your P. True, true, false, false. True, false, true, false. Okay. This is on this one. Okay, so P and Q, they both have to be true. So this would be true, right? But what's the negation of true? False, okay? This would be false for P and Q. What's the negation of false?
True.
Okay. This would be false. What's the negation of false?
True.
And this one would be false. What's the negation of false?
True.
That's a good one. Is this what your chart looks like? Okay. 8 more minutes together. Homework is Math Workshop Week 5, number 10 and number 14. 10 and 14. Yes. Ooh, 10, 14, 5, and 6 on week 6. So hang on just a second, let me finish this thought. Tonight's homework is 10, 14 on week 5, week 6, 5, and 6. Does everybody understand? Week 6, 5, and 6, week 5, 10, and 14. Okay. I will put it on Google Classroom as well. Okay. Devin. Right here?
Yeah.
So it's true, true, false, false, true, false, true, false, right? So or one of them has to be true. So that would be true, the negation would be false. That would be true, the negation would be false. That would be true, the negation would be false. That one would be false, the negation would be true. Okay.
I have a question. You have a phone.
Yes.
We hope.